because our country doesn't have enough problems, why not throw all sorts of criminal and impeachment investigations against the two major players that are running for president? What's the worst that could happen? Welcome back to the show, Dexter Tarbox, contributor over here at the New England Take. How are you?
Hey, AJ, I'm well. How about you?
Yeah, I'm well. So we're not going to go do a deep dive into these investigations. I think just on the face of it is a very interesting, very interesting conversation because it's bad. It's bad all the way around. It's bad for the culture of politics. It's bad because all of our politicians are corrupt, which is something we've known forever. It's just now because it's gotten so heated and polarized, it's like risen to the surface of criminal investigations and impeachment investigations. And honestly, I don't know who to blame because this has been going on for so long. It's just now where Trump being Trump has just kicked the bear so many times that it's starting to bite back in ways that are, I think, going to be problematic in the long run.
Well, I'll play Trump advocate and blame the Democrats.
Okay.
Because, of course, this began with them, with impeachment number one, which was dumber than impeachment number two, even, as I recall. And when we look at the Republicans now, they have been very lily-livered when it comes to throwing back the same attacks that they got from the Democrats in their face now that they have some modicum of power in the House. So no, I blame the Democrats certainly more than I blame the Republicans, simply because the Republicans have proven themselves entirely incapable of returning the same. This impeachment inquiry, to my mind, comes in far too late and is far too soft-core in its approach.
This really, once again, history just repeats itself with politics. There's no way around it. This is, traditionally, conservatives or Republicans don't want to be the one to throw the first punch when it comes to anything, whether it's with regards to changing laws outside of the abortion discussion, which I don't want to talk about. I'm so sick of that debate.
I'm with you, yeah.
It's always been the Democrats that have been the one to throw the first punch, and it's always the Republicans pounce, which is basically a meme at this point. Every time it's Republicans pounce. Often it is, not always by any stretch of the imagination, though. We saw this. It's a very similar thing when it came to judges being appointed. It was the same exact thing. Democrats changed, A, the rules, and B, the culture when it comes to how judges are appointed in order to push through a ton of judges when Obama was in office. And then, hey, guess what? Donald Trump was next, and we ended up with him getting this amazing chance, as a conservative, an amazing chance to have now a conservative majority on the court. As someone who cares about politics and policy, I think it's fantastic. I wish they were more libertarian in some of their thinking and more constitutional in some of their thinking when it comes to some of their decisions. But ultimately, hey, guess what? It paid off for Republicans for pouncing. And, I mean, what's that going to mean for the current situation over in D.C. right now? I don't think the impeachment's going to go anywhere, unfortunately, but it's Democrats, once again, changed the thinking around this very important way in how our government operates with the impeachment of the president, which in the past has been taking some pretty extreme issues in order for impeachment to come around. I mean, think back to Operation Northwoods, for example, things like that. There's like there wasn't they didn't try and impeach Reagan over that. But guess what? Trump, once again, being the one to just annoy everyone around him, change the thinking around the impeachment when it comes to the House and the Senate, and now guess what? Republicans are pouncing, and it seems like there's enough there to pounce at.
Well, I'm thinking back even further now, and I'm struggling to remember if Aaron Burr, as vice president, was even successfully impeached for trying to take over the country. It was certainly a rarity before. But even when we look at the sort of weakness of the Republicans, relatively speaking, now, you'll forgive me, I'm forgetting the name of the Trump advisor, again, in these lesser cases, who was just convicted in a court for contempt of Congress. One of the few people who ever has been in his role. Meanwhile, under the previous Democrat administration, under the Obama administration, Eric Holder was one of the first attorneys general ever held in contempt of Congress, I think, since the 19th century. And of course, the Justice Department never pursued that case when the House held him in contempt. But when a Trump advisor is held in contempt by the Democrat Congress, the Democrat Department of Justice immediately pursues him in court and convicts him to the point where he is now facing jail time. He has been convicted pending his appeal. So again, even in these lesser cases, the Democrats have proven themselves far more willing to go the distance when it comes to punishing their political adversaries.
And on the other side of it, though, I have always said politicians are corrupt and evil. That's the way almost all of them end up in office. There should be a standard set when it comes to, if you're out openly breaking the law and doing things that are hugely unethical, you should be brought to justice. But there needs to be equality when it comes to that. Democrats need to start calling out their own. Republicans need to start calling out their own, but they refuse to because they are weak. And it bothers me to no end. It's the reason why I'm sitting here over on the media side as opposed to on the directly politics side. Is I don't trust politicians as far as I can throw them with good reason, and I call them the corporate parties, the national, the DNC and RNC parties as offices as being just corrupt and terrible for our current political situation.
Oh, I absolutely agree. But of course, some of this, I won't say is a matter of opinion, because ultimately it is a matter of fact, whether, for instance, Biden was corrupt. I think to most objective viewers who are not obscenely partisan about these things, they will concede that there is enough to raise the question, to raise the inquiry, which has now been brought forward, into objective corruption by the current president. One of the things, though, that brought this into the New England spectrum for us, what we were speaking earlier, of course, though, is our governor in New Hampshire, Chris Sununu's recent statements that he thinks that the impeachment inquiry against Joe Biden is primarily a fundraising tactic. And that, to me, just seems an absolutely absurd statement. Again, number one, because I think objective, serious people will conclude that there is at least enough evidence to bring about an inquiry. But second, because of what we've just said earlier. What are these Republicans doing? Why does he desire to see us in a continued weakened state as it comes to pursuing, with the legal system, with the tools that are at our disposal, corruption by the left?
Yeah, and going over to the criminal side that Trump's dealing with, it's...
Which, of course, Sununu loves. Again, he takes a very... I don't understand what his motivations are and what he endorses and what he condemns.
I really think he doesn't know what he wants to do in the long run, whether he wants to be running for cabinet office, he wants to be a VP, he wants to be a political contributor and business owner, which, there's plenty of places for him to do basically any of these things in the long run, but, is it...
Oh, what's he going to sell? Bonbons?
He's gonna go do his ski thing and make a bunch of money and do whatever he wants to decide in the op-ed.
Ski accident attorney. Or Benson, who runs Planet Fitness now.
He's my boss in the long run, so I'm only going to say so much about our dear governor. I'm just going to say that at this point. I'm not going to go too in-depth with it.
I don't hate him.
But I think there is a problem, ultimately, when it comes to he needs to decide what he wants to do, because it's putting confusion in the New Hampshire political situation, and he keeps going on the national news making all these statements without a real... I don't really see a solution with anything he's putting out there, except for pointing out these aspects. I was like, I want a Republican out there to give us a damn solution to the situation at hand, because we're not seeing solutions. We're seeing investigations, calling out Trump or Biden for all their craziness and corruption that we've all known about forever, instead of like, okay, this is the person we're going to throw our support behind that may be able to fix the situation.
Especially someone with his platform. Not to say that someone with a prominent platform on the conservative side needs always to toe the line. That's certainly not the case. If we did, we'd all be Romneys. But it is sad to see someone with his platform being so divisive in terms of the leadership role that he could take in the conservative movement. It almost reminds me a little bit of Chris Christie, someone else who I used to admire, where it seems now that when he takes the stage, he is only taking the stage to divide within the party. And that's what shocks and concerns me about what he's been doing lately.
And it's not necessarily, we're also not saying necessarily that he should necessarily be towing the party line by any stretch of the imagination either, but we need to have someone to say, this is the solution. Christie is not saying there's a solution. He's saying Trump is evil and all of you are a bunch of toadies that are going to do whatever Trump says at the turn of a hat. It's like, that's not helpful. We want you guys to stand behind your leader. That's my issue with the current lineup right now in the GOP primary, is there's a bunch of people calling out other people instead of lining up saying this guy is the future, this guy is the one we should go with. Yes, Trump sucks, but we like Trump's policies, so we're going to go with another populist like Vivek. Or, on the other side, we want someone that's been around forever, has experience, can pull together enough conservative votes so that maybe we have a chance in hell, like DeSantis, or I know Christie, I think, is just running as the opposition candidate, and it's the only reason why he's running. But if he honestly took it seriously, like, he's got game. He knows how to do this, but he's wasting it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I think back when I'm looking at this philosophically to for instance, the speaker election in the House that took place not too long ago, and of course the Democrats were trying very much to ridicule the Republicans for the amount of division within the party. And I thought that was garbage. I think that one of the great advantages that we have a party, intellectually at least, is that there is diversity of thought within the Republican Party. There are options. But on the other hand, the Democrats win because they don't have that, because they are a monolith and they unite behind one effort, one message, one candidate. So when they want someone impeached, when they want someone indicted, when they want someone elected, they go behind it full force. And that is the downside to conservatism. I wish we could move, again, I support the diversity of thought. I think what happened during that speaker election was important and good. But I do wish we could move a little bit away from the constant division within the party so we could make some effective moves, at least on a nationwide basis. And that's where I wish a Christie, a Sununu, the rest would step a little bit more in line. Again, not so much as to tell the line universally the way a Democrat would, but at least to engage with the party for its broader goals. And it just doesn't seem to be something that these two in particular are interested in doing, even around something as I say, basic to me, and I think to most thinking people, as the impeachment inquiry.
All right, we are out of time right now. This is going to be a conversation we're going to be stuck having for the next year at least, longer than that, and we'll see what happens with that next election, because I got the feeling it's going to be another 4 years of stupid after that. But doingtake.com, like and subscribe. Thank you so much, Dexter Tarbox, for joining the show again, contributor over here. Check out his op-ed on Ray Buckley, our good friend, the chairman. There's a great op-ed which relates definitely to how the Democrats have a problem also on their side. We talk crap about both sides of the aisle here over on this platform. Like and subscribe. Find the audio version of the show on your favorite podcast platforms. We'll talk to you soon.